Hello, this is the tradesight Forex market preview and international economic data roadmap for the week beginning Sunday, August 30th, 2015, ending Friday, September 4th. Hope you had a good trading week. It was a good week for Forex. It was a good week on all the markets for us here at tradesight. Very exciting week of play all over the place. Here's a look at the US dollar index. Started out with a sharp down day on Monday and then bounced the rest of the week. Bring us back to the range we've been in since March. Remember, August is usually a pretty boring month, but obviously with things that are going on in the world, this has been a better than average March in terms of price movement. We've left everything at half size in terms of our trades. We go to half size when the market slows down, and it did in mid-July. And we usually keep it that way until somewhere after Labor Day when it picks up. Obviously, it's picked up here, but it's picked up in an extremely volatile way, and that still makes it risky. And even though we've had some nice winners in the last week or two, we still are going to keep it to half size at most. At least that's our recommendation for everybody. No point in getting yourself throttled in a volatile, whippy, news-driven market. Here's the euro dollar. Tried to break out back on Monday and reversed. Here's the pound. Never really did much, making its way back to the 9-bar or the static trend line of the last 9-bar move up. The bigger one anyways. The small one does not eclipse the bigger one. You'll see the more recent 9-bar move up ended early in the week, right when we dropped. But the red static trend line is from the prior because it's bigger in range than the first or the newer 9-bar move. Here's a look at the Aussie dollar. Went to new lows for recent times here and very close, if we get one more down day, to a 13 seeker sell signal. We got this 13 sell signal on the New Zealand dollar pair this week. And then here's the pound yen hanging out that static trend line. All right, let's take a look at the intra-week action. 30-minute candles on the pound dollar to start. You know, high to low only about 450 pips. It's a little better than average, but nothing as spectacular as you might think given what we've seen this week. We were pretty flat Monday and Tuesday, and then finally rolled over Wednesday and continued that a little bit Thursday. And that was that. The euro dollar, on the other hand, here's what that looks like from the spike on Monday upwards as the dollar weakened. The high of 1700 or so, the low of 1150. So 550 pips of range here, way more interesting, and that's why we had the winners that we did. So what do we look at for the week ahead at this point? Let's take a look at the magic calendar and see what we got. So here's the economic calendar, and we're going to jump to, there we go, Sunday. First of all, we should point out that next week, the next weekend is Labor Day weekend here in the U.S. So the following Monday is a U.S. bank holiday. People a lot of times take off Friday early, so maybe things slow down for Friday. We'll see. Also, this Monday coming up, the first day this week is the last day of August. All right, so what do we have for economic data? Sunday, building consents out of New Zealand, preliminary industrial production out of Japan, a couple of minor Australian and New Zealand numbers, and then Japan housing starts going into Monday. Germany's retail sales. We got the bank holiday Monday in the UK, so that'll make everything a little bit slower, especially the pound dollar, of course, but everything will be slow if UK is on holiday for the first day of the week. Italian retail sales, the CPI number out of Europe, Italian preliminary CPI. Canada's current account. We got the US Chicago PMI number at 9:45 a.m. Eastern Time. New Zealand's overseas trade index, Aussie's AIG manufacturing index, Japan's capital spending. We've got China's manufacturing PMI, non-manufacturing PMI. Australia's building approvals and current account. Final manufacturing PMI out of Japan. China's cakes and services PMI. 10-year bond auction out of Japan. And then rate announcement out of the Bank of Australia going into Tuesday in the wee hours of the morning. You've got commodity prices out of Australia. Spanish manufacturing PMI, Swiss manufacturing PMI, same out of Italy, same out of France. German, same along with their unemployment change rate. Final manufacturing PMI out of the broad European sector. Unemployment information out of Italy, probably high, right? Manufacturing PMI out of the UK, and money supply and mortgage approvals. Unemployment rate out of Europe. GDP out of Canada. In the US for Tuesday, we have manufacturing PMI, ISM manufacturing PMI, construction spending, IBD economic optimism, and ISM services numbers. We've got price index out of New Zealand Tuesday night, total vehicle sales out of the US as well. The monetary base out of Japan, GDP out of Australia for the second quarter. Wednesday, Spanish unemployment change, construction PMI out of the UK, PPI out of Europe. US has got non-farm productivity and unit labor costs, the ADP, employment change, factory orders, crude oil inventories, that's the weekly number, the Beige Book in the afternoon, retail sales and trade balance out of Australia Wednesday night, Spanish services PMI, Italian services PMI out of Europe, French and German of the same, and then the broad European one, and then the UK one. Retail sales out of Europe, Spanish 10-year bond auction, France 10-year bond auction. We've got a rate announcement out of the Bank of the ECB, so the European Bank. So be aware of that. And then trade balance out of Canada when we hit the North American side here on Thursday. We've also got the weekly unemployment claims number. Trade balance here in the U.S., that's one of our big three each month. We would be half size ahead of that. Final services PMI. ISM non-manufacturing PMI here in the U.S. Natty gas, that's the weekly number. And then back-to-back big numbers here going into Friday. German factory orders, CPI out of Switzerland, retail PMI out of Europe, revised GDP out of Europe. And then in Canada, their unemployment rate, and the U.S. unemployment rate non-farm number. That's, again, one of our big three each month. So we'd be half size ahead of that, half size ahead of by the way, when I say half size of what your size is at the time, because this is news that we're trying to avoid a spike on. So if we're already half size right now, then you'd be more like quarter size on these nights ahead of this information. Sunday going into Monday, that's the UK holiday. And then, of course, next Friday anyways leads into that long weekend. So definitely keep the size down this week. But there is a lot of data. There could be some movement from it, obviously. And obviously with everything going on in the world, we'd like to see the swings continue. We'll be in the lab helping you make money. If you have not taken a trial of our services, feel free to do so. Charts, as usual, brought to you by eSignal. Have a great trading week.